Arsenal.
8 points clear. 8 points clear, Gary.
Yeah.
We have to sit there on the overlap and listen to you slate us all the time. Are we going to do it?
Look, I said at the start of the season, no, obviously. I said about 3 weeks ago, no. I actually think they've just turned favourites in the last week or so. I think, honestly, that night when you went out of Europe on penalties, I think that was a big moment, because it clears up the whole of the rest of the season. City have obviously got Bayern Munich, then Real Madrid.
Yeah.
If they get through in the Champions League, they've got the FA Cup. They've got so much more. I mean, Arsenal have got that period where they play, I think it's Liverpool away, West Ham away, Newcastle away, City away, and then I think it's Chelsea at home.
Yeah.
That's a tough 5 games, that. You look at those games. So there's still a long way to go. But I think the fact you've cleared that sort of, if you like, path to the end of the season, I do think now Arsenal are just slight favourites. But, you know, Roy, I always say this, and you always, to be fair, disagree with me, but you never felt like this maybe when you were going for the title for the first time. But maybe you did, but you won't admit it. I don't know. Honestly, when I went for my first title in '96, and '95 we'd lost the double in a year, we'd lost to Blackburn the league, and we lost to Everton in the cup final. So my first title was in '96. Honestly, towards the end, that last 6-7 games, I felt really overwhelmed and quite sort of like the legs were heavy, and I just thought, this is tough going. You know what I mean? And the senior players, to be fair, got us over the line. There's no doubt about that. Arsenal have got quite a lot of young players who, like, you know, Saka and Martinelli, younger players who maybe might feel the same way when it gets really into the heat of it and there's a lot of pressure on. So we don't know how they're going to react to that, but at the moment, I think they're just turned favourites in this last couple of weeks.
Roy?
Yeah, they're in some great position. Wouldn't have thought that at the start of the season, but they've been brilliant. A lot of the young players obviously have been very consistent. The fact is they can just focus on the league. Yeah, they would be definitely favourites for the title. I don't think they'll do it. I think City, I still have to fancy City, but Arsenal have got themselves in a great position. Again, the young players are fantastic. And they do have experience. But I know what Gary's saying in terms of lads who won league titles, but there's still a lot of established international footballers there. And you need a little bit of luck, injuries over the last few months. But yeah, they're in a great position. And listen, you have to admire them for that. They've done brilliant. Can't begrudge them.
Why do you think they'll fall just short, though? Just because of City's experience?
I just think City are that brilliant, yeah. And obviously, you just mentioned the games there where they have to go and win. And these are obviously pressure games. They've not dealt with that over the last few years. Even was the last year the top 4, they came up short. So that's the question mark that's just hanging over them. But again, they've been brilliant. And if they did go on and win it, then you have to give them the plaudits. But at the moment, and this is the crunch time. This is the where you start to men out from the boys. You know, who can get over the line.
I'd love to see Arsenal win it. I'm no Arsenal fan or City fan, but I think it'd be great for the Premier League. I think when you have one team who wins the league so often as City have done, I don't think it's great for the Premier League. So I'd love to see Arsenal win it for those young players. It feels like there's a new emerging team. I think if City were to drop points at any stage, now even a draw, and that 8 points becomes 10, I just think psychologically for City, 10 points is a lot.
The other big story around at the moment is obviously the sale of Manchester United. The latest, it's just happened this afternoon, is that Ineos, Jim Ratcliffe's firm, have put their formal bid in for the club. Roy, if I gave you £5 million to spend on a football club, would you spend it on Man United or Liverpool?
United, obviously.
For emotional reasons, or do you think it's a better deal as
probably
well?
I think a bit of both. Obviously, I've played for the club. We know how good it is when things are going well there. Obviously, the fans have had enough of the Glaziers. You look at the brand, get back to winning ways and compete for league titles. I just think, that's just my opinion. I think, United it's obviously a lot of money, but these people are prepared to pay it. It seems a good deal for the Glaziers, doesn't it? They've done well out of it.
Gary?
They've got, my main concern is them not selling. This Elliott group that keeps sort of, if you like, popping up every single sort of like 3 or 4 days and to me that feels like a plant by the Glazers to stay in terms, if they don't get what they want, then that private investment money comes in from America and they stay in. Joel and Avi, who obviously, I think we do know they do want to stay in, 2 of the brothers. But they've got to go now. They can't afford to run the club The club needs a new stadium, whether that's a refurbished Old Trafford or whether that's a new build. It needs a new stadium. Anybody who goes over to Old Trafford, you know, it's well behind now. It looks great still. You know, it's cosmetically, it still looks great when the stadium's full. You're in there, it's brilliant. But then you think about where it is compared to some of the other stadiums in Europe. It's so far behind. And one of the great things when we played, actually, to be fair, the manager, I think he was really proud about the fact that we had the best stadium in the country. There was a time in 2000 we built the best training ground in the country. That's 20 years ago. Manchester United had the best training ground and best stadium in the country. Now that's not been invested in at all over the last 20 years. They haven't got the money, to be fair, to actually stick in there. They've got to get rid of the club. It's not just the fans. They can't afford to just live in the world that the football's in nowadays. So they have to go. And I said this to you about Liverpool. Liverpool's owners are obviously far better, FSG. They are better owners, there's no doubt about that. They've obviously made better decisions, better recruitment, better appointments of managers. But I would be worried if I was a Liverpool fan behind the scenes that they said a few months ago, 6 months ago, oh, we're going to get investment, we're going to sell. All of a sudden now they're not. They're going to raise investment and they're going to bring money in. I just don't like I don't like the US model. I don't like it. The idea of borrowing 4 or 5 billion from America, bringing it in. There's an investment return wanted on that money. And if an investment company like Elliott come into United for 4 or 5 billion quid, honestly, I feel like we'll be in the same position in a few years' time because they'll want the dividends, they'll not invest in the infrastructure. They're not that bothered about, to be fair, the appointment and the detail of the community, the fans, making sure that the actual experience is good. So for me, they just have to go. We cannot be lumbered with another sort of, if you like, similar model. And I do worry a little bit. I don't worry about Liverpool at all. In fact, I don't give a shit. But I do care obviously about football club ownership, and I do think Liverpool's owners have got a real problem as well.
Who would you rather have by United?
Between the two bidders, honestly, if either of them won, it wouldn't bother me. We can't control it. It wouldn't bother me.
Pick one.
I can give you the strengths and weaknesses of both. So Jim Ratcliffe.
No. We don't. I don't want the strengths and weaknesses. I don't care about the strengths and weaknesses. Roy Keane said before what a good pundit was.
Right. I'll give you the strengths and weaknesses. I'll give you the arguments. Because there's lots of things, it's a complex argument. So, Jim Ratcliffe...
No, you just haven't got the bottle to say which one.
I'll tell you I won.
Who's the shit bag now?
So basically, the two very different offers, right? I'll tell you exactly. I don't want the American money at all. I don't want that at all, right? And then you've got two offers. Jim is only buying 69% of the club, right? Which means...
69.
Oh, sorry. Right over my head, that.
Hey, he'd love that win percentage, wouldn't he?
So Jim's buying 69% of the club, right? So you're still going to have the debt in the club, the 500 million, and you're still going to have the New York Stock Exchange, 31%. That's my concern with that one, is that we've still got a stock exchange in America that's owned...
So you're saying you'd prefer the Qatar?
No. I'm just saying, that for me, that is a negative of that. However, Jim's a local guy, been a United fan, and to be fair, would do, I think, a really good job for the club. The Qataris will come in, they'll build a new stadium straight away, they'll wipe out all the shareholders, it will never take dividends or debt, but obviously people have to live with the fact that there might be a state-owned connection, which people don't like as well. So there's no perfect answer here. There's no sort of, if you like, Jim's going to be great and the Qataris are going to be bad or vice versa. I actually would like either of them to buy the club away from the Glazer family. If Jim comes in, If Jim comes in, I want him to straight away find someone else to partner with him to take out the 31% in New York and pay off the debt. He has to do that straight away, I think. So, there you go.
Enough for the financial detour.
Yeah. There you go. We'll do politics next.
We won't. Let's talk Ireland and the win last night. And the emergence of Evan Ferguson, who they're saying great things about at Brighton. And now he's showing it for Ireland as well.
Yeah, it was great. It's great for any young player to obviously get involved in the senior team to score his first goal. Obviously worried that people get carried away. He's still, 19? But obviously the prospects are good. I watched the game last night. It wasn't great. But you take the win. Obviously the tough game's on Monday. But it's great to see these young players come through because that's what Ireland needs. It's been short of I suppose, real quality players, particularly lads who can play week in, week out in the Premiership. Over the last 3 or 4 years, there's not enough Irish players playing week in, week out in the Premiership. So it's going to take its toll when you turn up for big matches, international football. If you're just playing the Championship, very, very difficult. So yeah, when a young player comes along with that, yes, it's nice to get excited, but you got to give the kid a chance to mature. But it's great start for him. Absolutely delighted for him. He seems like a nice kid.
If that job opened up for the Ireland manager, is that something that you consider?
No, I don't sit around waiting for managers' jobs to come up. I don't, honestly. So that idea of waiting for any manager to lose his job, it's not my mindset. I've said it before. I'd like to probably go back in. Where that happens, I don't know. But honestly, I don't sit around hoping managers lose their jobs. Far from it.
Something's a little bit easier. Quick questions, quick answers only. 3 teams to be relegated, and the top 4 in the order that they'll finish in at the end of the season. Gary, start with you. I know you don't like.
I don't like relegation, but I'll do it for the purpose of this show. Southampton, Bournemouth, and I've said this for a few months, and I watched them last weekend, last Friday, and I'm really worried about them. I feel for Nottingham Forest a little bit. I just feel a little bit all over the place, and I feel a little bit worried about the lack of experience in dealing with the relegation battle. I just feel like Leeds, Crystal Palace, Everton, Dyche. I just feel like they're a bit more hardened. I feel like Nottingham Forest could just get dragged into that. I hope they don't, but I think they could. And they spent 180 million. Unbelievable. Yeah. Notts Forest have spent that money.
You missed out the top 4.
Oh, sorry. I'll go. Unfortunately, I think it'll be Liverpool. I think it'll be United. It'll be Arsenal, and then it'll be City.
Shouldn't have asked you.
No, I agree with Gary. There's 3 teams. I think I'm worried. Obviously, Southampton, Bournemouth. I think Forest. Even losing the last minute last week to Newcastle, that point would have been huge for them. They're losing that momentum at the wrong time. Top 4, obviously, you're looking at Arsenal, City, United. I don't think Liverpool would do it. Newcastle or Spurs. I hope it's Spurs. I have a soft spot for Spurs, yeah. Spurs.
Jamie?
Top 4, I'll go Arsenal, Man City, Man United and Newcastle.
No Liverpool?
No, I think they've got the points gap now. I just don't think Liverpool are playing well enough. They've had the odd results now and again, but then they go back to, you go from Manchester United to Bournemouth. And I think that's happened all season. I don't think it's going to change for the last 10 games of the season. So that'll be my top 4. I think Bournemouth and Southampton, I think 100% will go down. And the last one, I think it's a toss-up between probably Forest and Leeds. I think I'll go Leeds.